There have been a lot of rumors circulating that when WWE makes the move to Netflix that we're going to go back to how WWE was during the Attitude Era. And in this video, we're going to go through what WWE on Netflix could look like. Because the WWE is set to debut on Netflix very, very soon. And I think that we've already seen WWE kind of giving us some glimpses into what the Netflix WWE era will look like. Now, we're going to start off by talking about what we could see with Netflix and what type of product we could be getting with WWE. And I'm going to start by saying this. I don't think we're going to go back to what we saw in the Attitude Era. I think that we're going to be getting some more edgier content, and I think that we're going to kind of get away from the PG era that was. Looking back at some of the stuff that happened in the Attitude Era, I think it deserves to stay in the Attitude Era. There are some things that happened back then that simply just would not be able to go nowadays. The cultures itself are completely different from what they were when the Attitude Era started. Not to mention, cancel culture is a very real thing nowadays. And with WWE being a business at the end of the day, I don't think they're going to risk it too much. So everybody hoping that we're going to go back to the wild wild west of the Attitude Era, I hate to burst your bubble, but I just don't see them going back to that type of content. I think what we've been seeing in the Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, and Dominic Mysterio feud, I think that's kind of what you're going to be seeing. Rhea Ripley talked about Dom not being deep enough. And that reminded me so much of the promo that Stephanie McMahon did talking about the game and how the game always came up a little bit short. But that really reminded me of that type of promo, so I think you're going to be seeing more stuff like that. Not necessarily in your face as it was back then, but something to just kind of remind you that this isn't going to be a PG product anymore. And I think it all started with Liv Morgan cutting the promo a few weeks ago on Monday Night Raw, where she turned around and gave the internet a lot to think about. So again, I think you're going to see more stuff like that. Maybe not necessarily the everything that we saw back in the Attitude Era, but I definitely think we're going to be seeing a lot more edgier content like the stuff we've been seeing in the Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, Dominic Mysterio feud. I don't think we're going to be getting a live sex scene. I know a lot of people are kind of wanting to see that. I don't think we're going to see something like that. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. Another thing is we're not going to see the women treated like they were back in the Attitude Era. Back then, they were treated as eye candy, and that was it. And while, yes, some of the women in the Attitude Era could have handled themselves in the ring, they never really got their chance to. Women's wrestling nowadays is completely different. We just saw at SummerSlam the Liv Morgan Rhea Ripley feud be up there in terms of match of the night. And women's wrestling as a whole is the biggest it's ever been and probably the biggest it will ever be. So again, I hate to burst your bubble, but I don't think we're going to be seeing any bra and panty matches anytime soon. And I think something that we all have to remember is that WWE is a business at the end of the day. I talked about it earlier, so I don't think they're going to want to risk everything that they got going for them right now. And it should be noted that when WWE made the transition to PG, they gained a lot of popularity amongst younger kids. And it became a show that parents were kind of comfortable about their kids watching or just simply watching it with them. And I don't think that that's something that WWE wants to lose. So I don't think you're going to see all the types of just nonsense stuff that we saw back in the Attitude Era. So again, I think you're going to see more edgier stuff. I think what we're seeing with the Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, Dominic Mysterio rivalry is kind of what we're going for. I think those are the type of things you're going to be seeing more of. So while yes, it does feel like the WWE is trying to bring back the Attitude Era, and while I think that they're going for something similar, I don't think they're going to go quite as deep into the Attitude Era as we think. So again, I'm sorry if I burst your bubble, and if you disagree with me, then feel free to let me know about it in the comments. At the end of the day, we're all wrestling fans and we're all going to watch WWE regardless of whether it's on USA Network or Netflix or whatever it's going to be on in the future. So that's going to do it for this video here. I do hope you enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit the like button. If you really enjoyed it, feel free to hit the subscribe button. It'll really mean a lot to me. As always, down below in the description is our Linktree link. There you will find all of our social media platforms. I highly suggest going and checking out our X page. Over on X, we do updates on every Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, and all of the PLEs. And above all else, I want that to be a place for wrestling fans to go and talk about wrestling. If you're like me, you really don't have a lot of people to talk to about pro wrestling, and that's what I want the X page to be. A place for wrestling fans to go and talk about wrestling, and especially wrestling fans who don't have anybody to talk to about pro wrestling. So if that applies to you, I highly suggest going to check it out, and maybe it is for you at the end of the day. But again, that's going to do it for this video here. Again, let me know down below in the comments on what you think we could see with Netflix and WWE moving forward. As always, stay tuned for more content coming in the future. We'll see you next time.